The $1 million view. These are what property marketeers might refer to as $1 million views, or perhaps substantially more these days. Why has the obsession to possess, be next to, or even have a small glimpse of naturally occurring phenomena become so vitally important? Some individuals aspire to reserve a corner of beauty for themselves, building ornate structures or large walls around mountains, coastlines and forests, while others choose to exist with the mountains, coastlines and forests, appreciating their wisdom in coexistence rather than ownership. This perception is potentially the simplest to understand and arguably the easiest to attain. It merely takes the will and the acceptance that lessons, small and large, have to be learned along the way. It could also be said that if that journey is faithful, these educations will never be chores, and with a little extra inspiration, be enjoyable and conjure possibilities not imagined. There are many rhetorical questions in life, like, what if there were no such things as rhetorical questions? Well, what if there was no such thing as Sunday?
Brad Pitt filter on.
What would you do if you won the proverbial lotto? And people would say to me, they'd go, oh, I'd move to France. Oh, my partner and I have always wanted to go to France. We'd love to go to France. And I'd go to France. And they go, where would you live? I said, right here. And then my house would be no bigger. Wouldn't change anything. I would just have a better tractor. That's how I know I'm on the right path.
As the story goes, in a picturesque coastal village lives a humble fisherman. Each day, he ventures out to sea, casting his nets and patiently awaiting his catch. With just a few hours' effort, he gathers enough fish to sustain himself and his family, and sometimes enough to trade for further provisions. The fisherman enjoys the serenity his pursuits reveal.
My dad was a doctor. He worked for NASA in the States. In fact, he was on the team that plotted the first lunar landing, which was pretty impressive. And my mum was a hillbilly from Tennessee with a bit of American Indian heritage in her blood, and they came out here to raise some kids and have a veggie farm, and they did that. They had 6 kids, so I'm one of 6, and we all start with the letter H. Henry, Harris, Heather, Hillary, Hamish and Haiti. I don't know what my mum Helen or my dad Henry were thinking, but that's how it goes.
It was just a fantastic upbringing that really made me the person that I am. And so when I went looking for my own place, I was looking for privacy, crystal clear water, good farming land, stuff like that. Having an organic farm was always my goal.
It's a positive business in the fact that it's really, really healthy. It's getting you outdoors, so you've just got to find your way, find what works on your particular block of land, find what works with your climate or your microclimate.
I realised I don't want to make money off this. What I want to do is make living here in this way viable.
There's lots of fresh air and lots of space that we can play games or go for swims. Well, I've got triplets as friends and they live in the city. So when they come down here, they have to get a bit dirty and stuff, and then it's kind of good for them.
This is my beehive. Got honey for the first time a few weeks ago, which is pretty cool. I can show you inside. The bees are working away. So once they're the 2 I emptied, and they fill them back up again. You wait till they're pretty much full on ends like that. A couple of weeks ago when we were taking honey out, I could just watch in the kids' faces while we were filling up. We were all just eating honey. I got 5 kilos in the first go from those 2 frames. But they're amazing creatures.
We'll plant corn and pumpkins and zucchinis and squash and things like that. And then we let the pigs in at the end of the season. They'll eat the leftover food as they're doing now. They'll dig up all the weeds. They bring all the rocks to the surface, aerate the soil nicely. At the same time, they're fertilising it. So the pigs are part of our permaculture system. It's about finding that balance and working out how much effort you want to go into managing weeds. If plants are going to be productive through weeds, or if they're going to strive within weeds, then I'll just let them go. My garden doesn't have to look pretty.
We've got zucchinis and some citrus, tomatoes, kiwano, African horn melon, beautiful pomegranate. I can never tell when pomegranates are ripe, but when they split open like that, they are ready to roll. It's nice seeing my kids eating fresh snacks, and when their friends come and they take them for a lap in the garden and they're just munching down on a cucumber and grabbing a lemonade or something like that. And yeah, not stressed about no lollies. We've got plenty of nature's lollies here. It's cool.
A wealthy tourist observes the fisherman and his tranquil lifestyle. The tourist advises the fisherman to work harder and catch more fish. The tourist speaks of grand ambitions and the pursuit of wealth, suggesting the fisherman could expand his operation and accumulate great riches.
Market day starts normally a day before. We get in the garden, pick up what I think we can turn over that following day. I've got a cool old truck that I take to the markets, and people love talking about the old truck. So it's just a really cool, fun day out, and you can get your day paid and part of your week paid for. It's pretty cool. The last time I was doing the markets, and it got to the end, and I was, you're really generous with all your stuff. You just try and get rid of it. And I had a bunch of zucchinis, and there was a lady who was there, and she's like, oh, you've got a few zucchinis left over. And I was like, yeah. But I said, that's cool. I'll just give it to the pigs when I get home. She's like, oh, yeah, right. And I said, yeah, that's a bonus. Pig food when stuff's on. And she left, and Adam Honey came up to me and he goes, I think that lady wanted some zucchinis. And I was like, oh, she did. Not only did I not give her any zucchinis, I told her I was going to give them to the pigs.
There's lots of animals that we like and we have. And I love animals, so I love going down and saying hi to the goats and the pigs.
I spoke to them and I said, look, we may get some suckers, or we may breed our female pig to get some babies to raise, and from the get-go, those ones are ones that will be used for meat, used for ourselves or to sell, so don't get attached to those. And the girls they've totally understood that process. It's if you're open and honest with kids and tell them where food comes from, and then they can be well placed to make their own decisions.
I'd say 90% of the people in this valley and around here would never have seen a fire of this magnitude before. From this point back to the coast, the whole bush burned. And driving down here today to see Hamish, it's hard to explain what you're actually feeling at the time, but the day that we got hit, we knew that all the people down here were on their own.
My road to recovery has been opening up my brain, because right up until the fires, I was farming. It's tough to manage with the drought, very tough to manage after the fires. And even with the drought getting to a peak before the fires, I live next to a river. The irony of that journey was, once we needed that secure water source, it was gone. That's the Deua fire. That's the Currawong fire.
You were here by yourself, is that
I was
right?
here by myself, yeah. I'd been driving up and down this big steep hill to keep an eye on the fire and checking our neighbours, and I saw it crowning through my neighbour's place across the road, and as big as anything you've seen on TV. So gum trees fully alight and flames twice as high as the gum trees. When you're faced with that sort of thing and you realise that you're potentially going to die, you think it's bad waiting 5 weeks for a fire to come and burn you. Try waiting on a catastrophic day. There's a one fire front, another one here that's in line with us, and then another one over the back. I went up the hill before and I saw that crowning and burning through what is probably Murray's house, and probably like a lot of people's brains in that spot do, I thought about bolting. I could see the road was kind of clear and I was on my motorbike. I thought about it and I thought, fuck, that's probably how I'll die if that one gets to the road while I'm riding out. So made the possibly stupid decision to stay. Hopefully survive when it goes past, and then I can get out and put some stuff out. It's also a little daunting doing it on your own. I don't really recommend it. It'd be lovely to just have someone to keep each other calm and hold the hose, that sort of shit. Fuck. So these are the 2 river tank sprinklers in front, and the 4 copper sprinklers on the roof are running off the river at the moment. 14. Where are you going, champ?
We were with Mum for most of it, but then lots of nights we'd come and give her a hug because we were worried, because we knew that Dad was still here, like, trying to fight it off. Yeah, it was just surprising how much the fires can do.
You probably got hit about an hour before Araluen did, 2 hours maybe, and we just seen this cloud and we just thinking, Hamish is in the middle of that.
Winnie, Franki, you guys are the best creatures in the world. You've made my life since you came along, and I want you guys to be the best women you can be when you grow up. You just keep being awesome. I love you so much. See ya. After all this wondering, I guess the answer is today. Live embers coming down here. Been soaking it for a day and a half. Getting ready for this. I think it was close to 100 kilometres an hour and 51 degrees.
Yep.
When it was flying past really quickly, it was like 4 jet engines. It's the best way I can describe it, just howling, just a monstrous noise. Then I'll have to fly over to Nev's block and try and save the caravans and the cars that are there. Get a bit dodgy now because I can't be 2 places at once, and this front is getting close to the house. Is that moment in time, that's a 15-minute event. Look at this, girls. Whoa. Crazy.
You can have the best laid plan, but if you don't have the calmness, you might as well not have a plan.
Is it bad that I'm having a glass of wine? It's living with the unknown. From the physical aspect, once the fireball had gone past, I just had this overwhelming sense of relief. I was like, wow, I didn't die, which is pretty cool. And then I was just driving around my farm putting fires out till
blacking out.
7 o'clock the next day.
My understanding is, there was 100-meter plus wall of flame encircling the area where both Hamish lived and his neighbours. It must have been terrifying. As we're going in, there was trees that we needed to clear just to get through the road. Luckily, we brought in our chainsaws and tow straps and were able to make our way further down the road. As we got there, we couldn't see him anywhere. The house was open, the television was on. That gave us cause for great concern. We did eventually find Hamish, and he was helping a neighbor's property. But even after we visited Hamish, coming out, there was trees falling, and we basically had to cut our way in and cut our way back out again.
Emotions are still pretty raw, aren't they, bro? Like, really raw.
I think when I become emotional, I think about my girls. Yeah, half of their lives has been a drought. They've been through 1 in 50 year floods. See those burnt down in the paddocks there? Yeah.
Kangaroos!
Where?
That big tree that fell in.
Where the roos? Oh yeah, they're the ones we've been feeding. And just after the fires, we were putting out feed stations and getting swarmed. Once it rained and the regrowth started happening slowly but surely, you start seeing wombats, you start seeing roos, and in fact I think we've got more lyrebirds than we had before, more quails.
I felt kind of scared and sad, and it was so much different when we came back. Well, now that everything's grown back, it's really lovely because all those hills used to be burnt, and all we'd look at from the deck was just burnt trees and thinking of where the animals would have lived.
They can't have their friends out here because the road's closed.
I had to leave my registered car on the Braidwood side of those roadworks, had to put my kids in a farm car, drive them through Murray's Place, drive to the roadworks, get out, walk 500 metres, get in my registered car, drive them to Araluen, put them on the Araluen bus for them to go to school. I couldn't fathom trying to get guests in. Once the road to the coast was clear, I was like, hey, I'm on here.
We've got 2 short-term accommodation stays on the farm, and I'm working on the 3rd one, and they've just been financially in this 3 hectic years, the shed's been our saviour. It's a little bit different to the mainstream, and the girls and I get a lot of joy out of sharing it. And typically after the first day, they're relaxed, they're at home, and they want to talk about the place. Hamish, how long have you been here? How do you run the farm? Where do you sell your stuff? This is what we want to do. We want to build a cabin next to a river. We want to grow our own veggies. We've got a lot of repeat customers, and now I call those people my friends, so it works really, really well.
Oh, we're going to check out the mine. It's right on the opposite side of the block to the house and the shed, which adds to the privateness and the secludedness, which is really cool. This is our gold mine. was dug in the mid-1800s, part of the Araluen Gold Rush. We've spruced it up a bit, made a nice hangout area, nice fire to keep you warm. Yeah, the mine's shaped like a V, so this tunnel is the one that you stay in. It's got lighting in the bed, and this side here is for the native microbats, but also you get to have, we haven't altered that, so you get to have a snapshot of what life was like back in the day. That's really the working conditions for the men and women that came up here. You can see the quartz in the wall, you can see the braces that they put on there 180 years ago. It's quite incredible actually, and there's lots of amazing graffiti on the wall here.
After listening patiently to recommendations from the tourist, the fisherman explains that his bounty is adequate. He says this leaves him treasured time to spend enjoying the simple pleasures of life. Joyous moments with his family, the laughter in his children's eyes, and sharing music with those he loves. These are the substances that fill his heart.
If we were talking about a serious topic or something, he'd say something that makes sense but's funny. Sometimes even when he makes fun of us in a nice way, it makes me laugh.
Tell me what your view is on it. How funny actually are you?
No, that's other people can say.
You see the world is changing, you feel helpless, yes it's true. But if your car has more than 5 seats, then I've got news for you. 'Cause you're the problem, you're the problem. Yes, if you've got more than 2 kids, you're the problem. You're the problem, the breeding problem, the viral problem, the human problem.
How funny. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time now, so I'm either blissfully ignorant and delusional.
Yes.
Or I've got something that people want to listen to. Post fires, I've got together with a mate of mine who's a spectacular musician down the coast. I wrote a song called Waiting to Burn after the fires, which I can just remember one thing, and that was going into the IJ in Braidwood before the fires hit and seeing really, really stressed out people. Just strained, drained, grey creases in their faces and stuff. And I was looking at them going, oh, do I look like that? That was what that song was about, was the intense pressure the community was under while we were waiting to burn. It's funny because I'm in a weird position where I think I could pretty much make a career out of comedy if I put that at the top of my list, but my girls and my farm are at the top of my list. So, and it's now 3 years on that all of those things are coming together. And if I didn't have to change that focus, maybe my Airbnbs wouldn't be online. There's a positive aspect to the carnage, being forced to stay at home, that changed my priorities. That's ironically possibly got me to the space that I wanted to be in. What it really reinforced in me was that if you're doing what you're doing, if you're living where you're living, and if you're living the way you want to live it, you're winning, no matter what that looks like.
We'll be waiting to burn, always waiting to burn, living, laughing, lying, losing on the lessons learned. Yeah, we're waiting to burn.